Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live for the Accelerated VLR Late Model Series, round number 5, live from Knoxville, brought to you by the Kenny Wallace Dirt Racing Experience, Team Friday, as well as the WRT Speedworks. We're happy for you to join us here tonight. Some of the best on the iRacing service take to the sprint car capital of the world in the World of Outlaws Super Late Models. This is going to be an exciting one for sure. Randy Chinnick, Justin Prince, and Hugo Louis bringing you all the action in this one. And Justin, Knoxville, known for American open wheel racing, but this is going to be a fantastic event. These cars are amazing around this racetrack at Knoxville.
Yes, it should definitely be an exciting race tonight. A very intense track to drive upon with a lot of history for sure. It's going to be an absolute handful for these drivers, especially in these late models.
Qualifying currently underway. Alex Bergeron currently leads the way with an 18.401, and this music is completely lit, in my opinion. Garrett Nabruge in second with Randall Carter, Dylan Fox, and Drew Hirschko currently rounding out your top 5. Still about 5 minutes left, though, in qualifying, and a handful of names we need to see run laps. Points as they run, and now I'm sad because the music has ended. David Heilemann leads the points coming into this one with 137. Jacob Leverstein, Dylan Wilson, John Fiddler, and Justin Norwood round out your top 5 in the championship standings. Don't think we have too many people on track right here, right now. Justin Chase Cabry, he is out there in that in that 04 machine, racingjunk.com sponsored car. He's getting ready to start his first lap right now.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of talent for sure in this series. You have a lot of big names on top of the point standings. You have Howard Weaver, of course, the all-time winner for the series, along with drivers like Alex Bergeron. So a lot of these drivers probably want to start up front to make sure they get away from the most best of the best, that's for sure.
So first time around for Chase, an 18.956, not where he wants to be. Full half second off the likes of Bergeron, Garrett, and Randall Carter. And let's see as he works himself to the top side of 3 and 4. You can already see that bottom groove has slickened up quite a bit. Comes off toward the front straightaway. And Chase, he's going to go down to an 18.7, so picks up about 10 spots with that lap. Puts him on the tail end of the mid-pack as they work themselves now. Working through Virgil Graham, he's out there on the racetrack, but he's actually abandoning that second lap, so not going to be interesting there from him. Mark Molnar, he's out there right now, working his second lap, lap 1, with an 18.636. He's going to hit the timing beam now, and he's going to go to a 5.73, so a little bit of an improvement there, and he's going to jump up a couple spots because of that one. I think most of our cars we have seen actually run laps. David Heilemann, your current points leader, he still owes us one, but he's got more than enough time here for the next few minutes to potentially get out there and run some laps. So we'll keep an eye out for him. There's a handful of drivers out there just doing some practice laps. No one currently running qualifying times, so just really everyone watching, I think, for David at the moment. See if he's able to get a lap in.
Yeah, of course, when you think about a lot of these times in practice, a lot of these drivers worked on trying to get the best times. A lot of them were in the mid to late 19-second range, so you gotta expect it to be, at the very least, have to be at that pace to be able to contend with the win today, especially at a track like Knoxville with the challenges, that's for sure.
So still waiting on Mr. Heilemann to take the track. Given Mr. Blake Durflinger's comments, this apparently is a bit of a tradition, waiting for that number 35 machine to take the racetrack. 2 minutes left in qualifying. Considering the fact you're only running around this place in 18 seconds, that's more than enough time to get out there, run a couple hot laps. So, it's really all eyes waiting for that. Still trying to look through, yeah, no one else is on a qualifying run at the moment. That number 35 machine, championship points leader, he's going to get out there in that bright white number 35. Let's see what he can do. He's going to work himself down the backstretch and head off towards 3 and 4. 35 of David Heilemann. Let's see if he can get himself toward the top of the timing beams in that Chevy and Camaro badged car. He's going to start his first hot lap right now. So through 1 and 2, working the top side, gets it down to the middle down this back straightaway. Now in towards 3 and 4, top side again, putting those tires perfectly right up against the slick. but not too far down on the racetrack. Runs the middle in 3 and 4, you notice, and down this front straightaway for the first time. First lap, 18.682. That puts him in the mid-pack. Not quite, I think, where he'd want to be. Down the back straightaway for the final time, past that National Sprint Car Hall of Fame Museum, and in towards 3 and 4. Can he get a better run? He needs to pick up a few tenths, I think, to work his way forward and be where he really wants to be. He's going to come across for the end of his second lap. He improves, but he's only going to pick up one spot over Dylan Wilson. Goes to an 18.669. So not the sort of run you'd want to see for your championship points leader, Justin.
Yeah, that is for sure, especially with it, when you're looking at where he's at. It's going to be a bit of a hassle to dig through some of this traffic, that is for sure. So that puts pressure on you to basically have the best runs possible to get your way up into the A main tonight for the best run possible. So it is an absolute challenge to be as deep as he is around in the field, especially with one of the top drivers in the points.
So heat race coming and getting themselves sorted right now. We are going to have a 4-heat show tonight, and it's going to be Jason George for heat race number 1, bringing him to the green. There is a 4-position inversion, so the person who would be the fastest in their heat race will be rolling off forward. So starting positions for heat race number 1, Jason George and Dylan Hauser on the outside of that front row, with Drew Hirschko and Alex Bergeron on row 2. Luke Chowning and Ian Blanchard on row 3, Jacob Fields, Dalton Connor row 4, with Albert Perez and John Littoral row number 5. So 10 cars per heat. Top 3 are going to transfer from each one. So these guys are going to be very, very aggressive getting up towards those front couple spots.
I'd have to say so at the very least, especially with there being just about 10 laps really to get around the racetrack. I would definitely expect to see drivers like Alex Bergeron try and push towards the front, as well as, of course, those drivers in the middle of the field to get as fast as they can up towards the front, because they don't want to risk being in the hornet's nest, so to speak, and end up having to struggle to get through traffic with a couple laps to go here for the heat. Again, as you said, 10 laps to get the job done. It's about getting the best start and making sure you're consistent right from the starting gun.
So here they work themselves through towards the front straightaway for the first time. We will have one more pace lap, as is tradition behind this iRacing safety truck. Jason George is going to be looking to have a nice clean run. One thing that's important is that the fastest qualifiers, due to the 4-position inversion, start outside of that transfer spot. So for Alex Bergeron, rolling off 4th place in his heat race, he needs to pick up at least one spot. I have to say, for Alex, that's likely not going to be the most difficult thing in the world, but this is a very competitive field here in this late model series. Pace truck heads down the back straightaway and will be ducking down for the first time to the safety of pit road, and RaceSpotTV will be green for the accelerated VLR late model series round number 5 at Knoxville. To the inside, it comes that iRacing safety truck, field in command of Jason George, and he gets on it early. Green flag in heat race number 1, and that number 9 car has a big lead as they roll through 1 and 2 for the first time. 29 car of Dylan Hauser, he's going to look to the bottom, not the optimal line that we saw in qualifying, but good speed down there for him, as Alex Bergeron has already found himself up into the 3rd spot.
Yeah, Bergeron using the high side near towards the cushion and getting in a nice position to keep up that slide just at the very edge of the slick, trying to keep the right rear tires out from that loose condition. He might have to risk about making it 3 wide. Instead, I think he's just going to be patient and try battle for the 2nd spot.
He was tucked onto the 29 down the back straightaway of Dylan Hauser. Him and Jason George are side by side. A little bit of contact with the wall for Bergeron. And look at the speedy and carry mid-corner, but the 29 wants this race lead. See him looking down to the bottom on Jason, but not quite able to make it happen. In towards 3 and 4 once again. 29 car really loving that bottom groove. He's finding decent pace there. Meanwhile, the 26 of Drew Hirschko, he wants to transfer out of this heat race directly to the feature as well, but he's going to have to get around the 32 Bergeron. Right now, Bergeron pulled up alongside the 29 of Hauser, down on the bottom, not quite able to get there. Going to be nearly half distance next time through. 4 of 10 score complete.
Yeah, and you can see the effort that Bergeron's trying to get himself into a bit more of a safer spot. But right now, that high side along the cushion is that fastest line. But look at this. Hirschko and Bergeron both going towards the bottom. Hirschko, as you see, moving back to the high side. But Bergeron just can't make that bottom stick through the slick.
Cross flags in the air right here, half distance as they work off of 1 and 2. Halder and Bergeron still wheel to wheel. They come off that second corner. Down the back straightaway once again. You see Alex, he gets a great run on the entry, but he loses it from the mid corner to the exit point. That's why he can't get this job done just yet. And Dylan Halder doing a good job pitching him. Alex going to throw an aggressive move, going to try to slide up in front. Bit of contact with the 29, but Alex muscled his way into the second spot, coming to 3 laps to go.
A gutsy slide jump for sure to get out in front, trying to go below that slick on the entry to make it stick, makes the pass work. Lucky he didn't get spun around, but Hauser there, still in that 3rd spot regardless. Now, Jason George is going to have to hang on for sure at that front of the pack.
You say that though, look at the run Alex gets down through the bottom. He's learning how to use that berm down at the bottom, puts that left front wheel up on it, both ends of the racetrack. Alex tries to slide the bottom again, and he's been quicker the last couple laps. And look at the amount of time he's made up on Jason George as they get ready to head into 3 and 4. White flag going to be at the iRacing timing stand, and let's see a little bit of contact maybe. Alex Bergeron is there and harassing that 9 machine of Jason George. Can Alex work his way to the race lead through down to the bottom? The only car using it. He has great speed through the middle, but can he somehow, maybe with a bit of a push, get himself clear? The 9 cuts off the bottom this time, but can he run it as effectively as Alex? Answer is going to be yes, and Jason George will hold on to win heat race number 1.
A great heat race for sure for those two, especially for Jason George. Even some of the fans watching along through the race itself are actually cheering on, waiting for their heats. So a good victory for Jason George for the heat number 1 tonight.
Amazing opening heat race to the night for sure. Just going down the post-race results of that, Jason George, Alex Bergeron, Dylan Hauser. Those are the 3 drivers that will transfer directly to the feature, with Drew Hirschcoat, Jacob Fields, Ian Blancard, Lucas Chowning, Robert Perez, John Litteral, and Dalton Connor rounding out that 10-car field. Heat race number 2 coming at you right now. Those guys are getting themselves set. It's going to be John Fiddler and Virgil Graham on that front row, with Jacob Leverstein and Garrett Nabruge, row number 2. Mark Molnar and Austin Carr, row 3. Chris Ornicia and Robert Schaefer on row 4. And DJ Kilinowski and Justin Netner on row number 5. So an exciting heat race number 1 here, Justin. I have to say the rest of the ones for the night have a lot of hype to live up to after that one.
Yeah, we should expect this kind of racing, exciting racing for sure for the rest of the heats, because this is a good track for these late models to be able to set up passes like that, where you have different strategies where you can either ride along the cushion side on the high line, or you can end up trying to ride on the bottom to make that work. You see already too that the slick is already winding up a bit from the dive bombs from up at the front for position, especially from Alex Bergeron from heat number 1. So that's going to add an extra condition there, a little tiny bit more of a challenge, especially into 3 and 4 along that berm to make sure you get these passes. So this is going to be some intense fun as the track continues to slicken up throughout the heats.
Knoxville at the Marion County Fairgrounds is, of course, most well known for the sprint cars. My oh my, on the iRacing service, these super late models put on one heck of a show. And we're getting ready to go green in heat race number 2. iRacing safety truck will be ducking to the safety of pit road momentarily, and it'll be all eyes on that front row of John Fiddler and Virgil Graham. You see that 42 machine being aggressive, nosing out in front of that 115, and this is why you'll be able to get a nice response here as they come towards the start-finish line. John Fiddler's going to get clear in towards 1 and 2, but Virgil Graham going to immediately begin the harassment of the 777 of Leverstein. He's working the bottom aggressively, trying to get around the 19 of Garrett Nabruge.
And hold on 1 second, a bit of trouble right at the back too. You had Nelfter around, you had Kulinowski around, you had a few different drivers stop in the middle of the track. Lucky to keep on going, but everything's safe and sound for the leaders as they just passed by where that happened at the start of the race.
John Fiddler still has the race lead, still have a number of cars up in this lead pack. I count 6 of them. It's going to be Fiddler, Graham, Nabruge, Leverstein, Carr, and Molnar, your top 6. So they all basically run nose to tail as they head towards 1 and 2. Once again, not a lot of changes for position amongst your race leaders. Nabruge has gotten around Leverstein. Nabruge would have been the quickest qualifier in this group, so look for that 19 car to potentially make moves. Interestingly, no one trying the bottom the way we saw towards the end of that first heat race, Justin.
Yeah, I think everyone's just trying to be nice and patient, riding along the cushion. You see a couple drivers, though, at the back of that 6-car group trying to use the bottom, but they might have noticed that it takes a lot of skill and effort to try and time it out to make that bottom side work with how slick it is, which is why I think everyone's just sticking up to the top, waiting for the right moment to make a pass.
Coming off now, quarter number 2. John Fiddler has about a 6/10 of a second lead as things are getting dicey. 19-car Garrett DeBruge, the quickest qualifier in this group. He wants around the 42 of Virgil Graham. Cross flags this time. So 5 laps to go in this heat race. Also keep an eye on that 777 of Leverstein. They're going to be 3 wide down on entering the back straightaway past that sprint car. Hall of Fame and Museum. They get it back to single file relatively quickly, but still an aggressive group of these guys continue fighting for the last couple transfer spots in heat race number 2, and now the 42 car Virgil Graham leaves the bottom open, but Leverstein is still very, very close. DeBruge lost a lot of ground after that 3 wide moment, Justin.
Yeah, having to back out to make sure he didn't get contact and get sent into the guardrails. You can see how he's trying to drive back on that high line cushion and trying to really push in to close that gap. He might be able to get it to the last lap, but it's going to be absolutely close. Going to take absolute precision for DeBruge to get back to where he was before.
Top 4 run as they started this. 2 laps to go in heat race number 2 here at Knoxville. John Fiddler is still clear. A little bit of contact, I think, between that 777 and the 42. They're going to be wheel to wheel down this back straightaway for the penultimate time. Let's see, can Leverstein throw a big move down on the bottom? We saw the bottom really work for Bergeron in the first heat race, and a little bit of contact. That'll get both of them a little bit loose, but both of them stay in it. White flag on heat race number 2 coming at you right now through corners number 1 and 2. Everyone running that middle line as they head down the back straightaway for the final time, and no one I think is going to be close enough. The 19 machine in DeBruge, he's going to try the bottom and make some miracle work. Fiddler's going to win this heat race, but Graham and Leverstein are going to hold on to their transfer spots, and Garrett DeBruge is going to be frustrated that he's going to have to run through one of the lower mains later this evening.
Yeah, that's going to be an absolute heartbreaker for him, because I think if he had maybe 1 or 2 more laps, he might have gotten the job done, but that time, especially had to back out of a near 3 wide situation, I think that really was the downfall for him. But now, he's still going to have a decent starting spot for at least the B main later on tonight, you'd think. So, going to be a bit tougher for him, but he's still in a decent spot to maybe advance on, despite being in just that 4th spot.
Definitely has good speed, so I definitely think you're right about that. Post-race results on your screen from heat race number 2. Fiddler, Graham, Leverstein, DeBruge, Mulder round out your top 5 with Austin Carp, Josh Neitner, Robert Schaefer, DJ Kilinowski, and Chris Ornicia involved in some of that little first lap drama that we saw. It'll be interesting to see how those drivers can recover as the night goes on. Heat race number 3 coming at you right here, right now, though, and let's take a peek at the starting grid for that as they begin to roll off. Josh Phillips, he's going to be on the pole position for this with Zach Rounds in 2nd. Howard Weaver, the Tomato Man, will roll off in 3rd with Randall Carter 4th. Tyler Ducarme and David Heileman on row number 3. David is, of course, your championship leader, so everyone needs to keep an eye on him and the sort of pace that he can show. Chase Cabre and Brad Dyer, row number 4. Blaze Decker, the lone car, on row number 5. So, a lot of big names in this one, Justin. Josh Phillips, Rounds, Weaver, and Carter. Those 4 names are big just in their own right, but Tyler Ducarme is very quick as well. David Heileman, Chase Cabre. This might be the most stacked heat race of all of them.
Yeah, that's for sure, because a lot of these drivers I have seen in the American Dirt Series for the sprint cars and the late models before, for comparison with the Arab coverage, they are usually some of the strongest drivers. Whether you have Cabre also coming in and also having a strong showing in the most recent late models, there is a lot of strong drivers in the field for tonight, for this heat. It's going to be an absolute challenge just to be in those top 3 spots. I definitely think that's for sure. Got to make sure you get everything perfect to advance on.
So iRacing safety truck ducks to pit road, and let's see, when does Josh Phillips get on it? He wastes no time, and unlike what we saw in the last heat race, that second place runner is very slow getting to the throttle, and that's going to give that 18 car of Phillips a nice little buffer through corners number 1 and 2. Zach Rounds and Howard Weaver, they're going to begin fighting immediately. That 07 trying the bottom the way his teammate Alex Bergeron was doing, and look at that, Howard makes it look easy, slides around that 31 machine of Zach Rounds, move Howard Weaver to that second spot. Randall Carter, meanwhile, he's sort of tucked in behind that 31, not quite able to make things work, running the ultra high line though, and let's see if he's going to be able to make something happen as the 31 of Zach Rounds says, you know what, I'm not done yet. He's going to try the bottom on Weaver.
Yeah, it's going to take a couple laps to position that, especially with it being much even more slicker now in 3 and 4. But you can see the absolute attempts by Carter there to absolutely just bonsai move it up there. Going to lose some of that bubble spot though, as Zach Rounds just uses the brim to his advantage to get the cutoff there for the slide job. That's going to be an intense battle, that's for sure. Everyone just trying to get themselves right up to where Weaver is, along with Phillips.
Phillips trying the top side. He didn't get a good run through 1 and 2. This is going to open the door for Howard Weaver. He looks to the bottom, and Josh Phillips, he's going to run the middle. In response to that, you've seen guys slowly start moving up the racetrack, trying to use that cushion, but really it seems like the middle and bottom side of the racetrack, despite how slick it is still the quick way around for now. Weaver's going to look down to the inside coming off corner number 2, but no, the door won't be open just yet for him. Now he'll try the top. Can he sling it around the outside? Cross flags. Here they come off corner number 4, 5 down, 5 to go, and Weaver is hounding your race leader. He looks to the inside in 1 and 2. Will he be able to make something happen? He's just going to pull up about alongside, but the momentum goes up top for the 18.
Yeah, trying to reset himself here to position himself up for the pass, especially with a man right on his back bumper. Randall Carter was able to finally catch up to these 3. Look at this, though. Again, a nice slide job attempt, but Weaver just can't get in the proper spot. He's just about there, right on the bottom for 1 and 2 to make it stick, but he's got Carter to worry about, who might make the same move right into this corner.
Here comes Howard. He's going to look down to the bottom. Will he be able to slide around the 18 of Josh Phillips? He pulled up on the back straightaway. Phillips, a little bit of a hiccup. This might open the door for Weaver. Coming to 2 laps to go in this heat race. Weaver's going to take the race lead, but will he maintain the momentum? Yes, he will. Randall Carter, meanwhile, he wants around Josh Phillips, and he's just about going to do it. Bit of contact, and he's somehow going to save that car and hold on to the second spot. That's going to give a big margin for Weaver. Meanwhile, they're 3, nearly 4 wide, fighting for second place. The 31 car, Zach Rounds, he's back into this as well, as he's going to actually get turned from that 37 machine, and that's going to be a big incident there for sure. That's Randall Carter who got into a white flag though, and that's going to unfortunately take away this last lap fight. Howard Weaver out to over a second. He is going to win heat race number 3. Phillips should be able to hold on a second, and David Heileman showing why he's the championship leader. He goes from 6th and races his way to 3rd in heat race number 3.
I think Heileman definitely has a golden horseshoe with him at this point, because he was all the way back in 5th before that. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. That time, he positioned himself for that exact situation and able to advance on despite having a struggle in qualifying. Great run by the points leader.
So heat race number 3, fireworks as Weaver gets his way out in front aggressively, and he takes the win with Josh Phillips holding on to 2nd, David Heileman in 3rd. Chase Cabre, he will finish 4th with Tyler Ducarme in 5th, Brad Dyer 6th, and Blaze Deckert in 7th. Randall Carter, after that last lap incident, actually maybe I think penultimate lap incident, will finish in 8th, and Zach Rounds in 9th. 2 laps down. It's going to be a big hill to climb for that number 31 car, despite the pace we normally see from him. That said, heat race number 4 rolling off on the grid right now with Mike Mullner and Ken Short on the front row, Brandon Schmidt and Dylan Fox row 2, Dustin Sizemore and Dylan Wilson row number 3, Shane James, Kevin Forcier on row 4, with Jordan Wesley rounding out that 9th spot here. So it's been a fantastic first 3 heat races, Justin. This racetrack, as every heat goes by, gets better and better for racing.
Yeah, it definitely does get better and better, leading to more strategy to be done, more intense moves really to make position, to move up, especially to get up into that top 3. I think we should definitely expect for this heat Just got to make sure you keep the fireworks at bay and save it for the feature, because you want to have those fireworks to get yourself up to victory lane with the energy you need for that.
Definitely the big thing. You need to somewhat pace yourself, but at the same time, you need to set a tempo and stick to it over the entire course of the night. If you start having situations where you're going backwards early, it's going to be a long, long evening for you. That said, end of the second pace lap right here, which means that safety truck getting ready to duck to the safety of pit road. Once again, it'll be all eyes on that number 34 car of Mike Molnar. Let's see kind of jump he's going to get. Green flag flies. He gets on it. 28 machine unfortunately does not get a good lead coming off corner number 4. That's going to allow Brandon Schmidt to look to the bottom, and he's going to take that second spot immediately as they head down the back straight for the first time.
Yeah, decently clean start, especially from the front 4, as they are all moving up to that high line, middle to high line, I should say, and already pulling away, especially with the side-by-side battles going right on behind them for 5th on back. Got to set that tempo to pull away, but look at this. Schmidt trying to go for the move on the bottom. Just couldn't make it stick. Again, he's going to wind himself up for the pass again for the next couple laps for 1 and 2.
Going to run the top side here off of 3 and 4. Not going to be quite close enough. Mike Molnar has a nice little buffer to work with. That 20 machine. He's much more aggressive in terms of the slip angles. He runs through the corner, but look at Ken Short. He's not done with this just yet either. He's going to look to the bottom on Brandon Schmidt. Going to try to take that second spot back as they head off of corner number 4 once again. Coming to lap 4 off 10. The 28 machine, I think, maybe just got hooked by the 99. And now he definitely got hooked. Big, big contact in 1 and 2. And that's going to be the end of this heat race for Ken Short and open up a huge margin over your top 2 of Molnar and Schmidt.
Absolutely bad luck for sure, because that was going down the straight, just had a lot of momentum really in part from that, and in the end just could not save it now for that top 2. Just got to steal it on though, but that adds more pressure for that battle now that's formed for 3rd on back, because Fox, James, Wilson, all right now are going to be fighting for that bubble spot right at the halfway mark.
Cross flags and the fight is on for the race lead. That's the closest one at the moment. But Dylan Fox, he's going to be feeling a lot of pressure as he went from looking on the outside looking in. Excuse me. Now he finds himself on that bubble, and Shane James slowly reeling him in. They're nearly side by side though for the point, as Molnar is doing his hardest to hold on to this over Brandon Schmidt. He's charging from 3rd place on this grid. He's going to work himself off of corner number 2 and down the back straightaway. That 20 showing very, very good speed. But the question is, how aggressive are you really going to be when you're already guaranteed at this point pretty much a transfer position? Meanwhile, Dylan Fox, he's slowly trying to open up a gap over Shane James. Last time through, James, I think, reeled him in. Indeed, he did by a full 10th. A couple laps left, and James is going to get a big run. He's going to pull alongside the 99 of Dylan Fox. Then for the transfer spot, James going to make short work of the 99, but the 99 fights back in the bottom. 2 laps to go in heat race number 4.
Yeah, this is going to be an intense battle. You're seeing the crossover move once again. You've seen it work out of 1 and 2 last time. Again, for James, it works. Can he get up to the high side? No, he cannot, but still going to make it work to stick in 3rd spot. White flag coming out.
White flag through corners number 1 and 2. 34, Mike Molnar doing his hardest as the 25, excuse me, the 20 is going to get a big run. Fight is on for 1st as well as 3rd here in heat race number 4. Brandon's going to throw it down to the bottom. He clips the berm, and that might kill his opportunity. Molnar is going to get the traction down low, but who's going to transfer in that 3rd spot? It's going to be Shane James, who gets around the 99 of Dylan Fox, and he will transfer out of heat race number 4. Stunning run here in the accelerated VLR late model series in that 4th heat race. Post-race results coming at you right now. It's going to be Mike Molnar who holds on for the win there, with Brandon Schmidt in 2nd, Shane James 3rd, Dylan Fox in 4th, Dylan Wilson in 5th, Jordan Wesley 6th, and Dustin Sizemore in 7th. Kevin Forcier, he will finish 3 laps down in 8th, and Ken Short will unfortunately start 9th. I lied. I said it was a 5 heat race show. It's going to be a 4 heat race show. We are already getting our way in towards the last chance qualifiers. C-Main putting itself on the pit road right now, and let's go down the starting grid for that. Luke Chowning and Joshua Neltner are going to be on that front row, with Blaze Deckert and Dustin Sizemore on row 2. Albert Perez and Rob Schaefer, row number 3, with Randall Carter and Kevin Forcier, row number 4, with John Literal and DJ Kilinowski on row 5. Zach Rounds, Ken Short, row 6, with Dalton Connor and Chris Ornicia on row number 7. This is going to be a hectic one here, Justin. 8 laps, hot 4 transfer to the B.
Yeah, right now I think you just got to, again, have the best race possible, because if you make any mistake here, you're done for the night, essentially. So we expect these drivers to be aggressive right from the green flag right now and get things together. Of course, you still have a lap for the pace lap, but just expect everyone to be aggressive as they can. And for guys like Zach Rounds, they will have a tiny bit of a challenge.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one indeed. Interesting to note, I believe that 31 car is Zach Rounds, given an EOL penalty, as well as Rob Schaefer. So that may be coming down from things that happen in their heat races and some, let's just say, incidents that happen. They're going to have to go to the back, and, well, it's going to be a big climb for those guys trying to work their way forward. Regardless of how quick you are, you have to work your way up a full 10 positions from the back of the field to transfer in this C main. Pace truck, getting ready to come down towards the safety of pit road. And it's going to be all fireworks from there, as Luke Chowning is going to be in command of the field, bringing him to lap number 1 of 8. He wastes no time. That might be the earliest start of the night. And look at that. He put him in the NHRA and in a top fuel car because he has a huge margin over the rest of the field. He works himself through the second corner.
Good start on the green flag, but absolutely struggled down the back straightaway, very slow, as Nutter is going to make it 3 wide. This is going to be absolutely dangerous. And Sizemore has to back out, almost barely got backed up. They're still 3 wide and still bumping and banging, but they're all keeping a straight line. 4 wide as this is going to be up in the wall.
We got a handful of cars in the wall as well. Big incident. This is what you often see in these hate races. Dustin Sizemore, he is done. The 11 machine of Josh Nettler, he has big damage. And who's actually going to be leading? It's still Lucas Chowning out in front. Albert Perez in second. Blaze Decker third, and Randall Carter in the 37 from the back of the field. A little bit of contact with the 12 machine as those 3 cars are hounding it out second through fourth out here on the racetrack. These guys need to be a little bit calm with one another. They're already guaranteed transfer spots. But boy, oh boy, Justin, if that's not over-aggressive driving, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that is extremely aggressive. They know what's on the line, but that was absolutely insanity. And almost absolute insanity forming out into turn 3. Perez and Deckard almost had a similar situation. And that's going to let Carter now pull away with the second spot. Look who's at the door now. It's going to be Chris Orsina coming up in that 5th spot and closing in fast with the rest of the field coming on, including Zach Rounds.
Let's see what we can make happen here. There's going to be 3 laps to go. And can Chris Ornicia in that 78 from the very back of the field work his way up and get himself a transfer spot? He's a 10th and some change quicker than the 12 last time around. But is he going to have the time to get there? 2.5 laps left. Out in front, Chowning has a clear 1.5 second lead. Carter in second by about a 4/10 over Albert Perez in third, who's a further 4/10 ahead of Blaze Decker. 2 laps left, and Chris is alongside that 12 car through 1 and 2. They head down the back straightaway for the penultimate tie. Can Chris find some opportunity? They're also reeling in the 06. So there's going to be 3 cars scrapping out for 2 transfer spots. White flag in the air for Lucas Chowning and the rest of the field. In towards 3 and 4, they're going to come. Chris Ornicia, big slider around the 12 machine of Blaze Decker. Blaze going to drive it back down to the bottom. Great momentum coming in from him. Chris is going to have one more opportunity off of corners number 3 and 4. Blaze will drive himself through the slick trying to defend, but Chris has a big run. They're going to be wheel to wheel, a little bit of a bumper hook, but no, the 12 car will hold on for the last transfer spot in the C main tonight. What a run from Blaze and Chris there at the end.
What a run that is for sure. I was honestly on my feet watching all that action because it was close, very close. That's the kind of racing you love to see, especially in a series like this. Great racing for them, especially battling for those transfer spots. But now, time to focus towards that B main because they got to get themselves towards a similar run to move on to the feature.
Similar run indeed. 16 cars make up this B main. And just to do a quick rundown of those post-race results, Luke Chowning, Randall Carter, Albert Perez, and Blaze Deckert. Those are the 4 drivers that will carry on, continue fighting tonight. Drivers we will not see any more of are going to be, unfortunately, Chris Ornicia, Zach Rounds, Ken Short, Dalton Connor, Rob Schaefer, John Littoral, DJ Kilinowski, Joshua Nettner, Dustin Sizemore and Kevin Fortier. B main though, starting right now, Drew Hirschko and Garrett Nabruge on that front row, with Chase Cabre and Dylan Fox on row number 2, Jacob Fields and Mark Molnar row 3, Tyler Ducarme and Dylan Wilson row 4, Ian Blancard and Austin Carr row 5, Brad Dyer, Jordan Wesley row 6, Luke Chowning and Randall Carter row 7, with Albert Perez and Blaze Deckert on row number 8. 10 laps, so the same that we saw in the heat races tonight, Justin. Top 12 will transfer their way through to the feature event. But that means that I would suspect we're going to see slightly calmer racing when it's all said and done.
I would expect that as well. It's still going to be a bit of action up towards the front, I think, because there's still a chance to get a good starting position really for the feature race after the B main. So I would definitely expect the cautiousness, not as much bumping and banging to get into the transfer spots for the C main, but still expect it to still be intense racing to make sure they start in the best spot possible if they advance for the feature race tonight.
Some potential new viewers we have. This is iRacing.com, premier online racing simulation game. Cars are laser scanned, tracks are laser scanned, millimeter accuracy. They have dirt, what you're watching now, sprint cars, late models, modified, pretty much everything you can imagine. GT and endurance racing. They have NASCAR, they have IndyCar. Check it out. It is a whole lot of fun. And a whole lot of big races happen. B main, 10 laps on the board, top 12 transfer. Drew Hirschko in command of the field as that iRacing safety truck ducks to the safety of pit road, and Drew is going to wait a long time before he gets on the throttle pedal, and a good response from that second place runner in this one. 04 machine going to slide up very aggressively. Chase Cabre from third, and he's already wheel to wheel with your race leader. He's actually going to fall back, doesn't carry the momentum. They were nearly 3 wide for second, and they head through 3 and 4.
And they're still 3 wide, in fact, for second, but having to back out the 97, almost lost it right on the rim on Molnar, having to back out of that. But Cabre with a great, beautiful start to this one, but now you have Neuenberg ready to dive on in the slick, but he's got himself a bit of a biter in Austin Carr as he slides sideways.
Austin Carr gets a big wiggle. Look at that, big couple cars around in the back. And this is a little bit surprising to me here, Justin, the fact that your top 12 transfer in a 16-car race. I don't know why, when you're running 10th, 11th, or even 6th, 7th, 8th on the racetrack, why would you even really be fighting that hard for position when you have such a buffer behind? I know that you're scrapping out for starting spots, but it just seems silly to me as how many cars do we actually have running. Transfer position, I believe, is held by Blaze Deckert, who's fighting with Ian Blancard. No, actually, I take that back. Blaze has dropped back. It's Albert Perez in the 06, who currently holds that bubble boy position, and Luke Chowning is just ahead of him. So that's going to be the bubble spot. And now if these guys in the top 12 don't play nice with one another, I'm just going to wave. I'm just going to be shaking my head as they're coming towards half distance.
Yeah, everyone just trying to settle down and calm down. That's what we're seeing. But Perez, he bumped against the wall. It's now 3 wide, and he almost hooked around the battle with Deckert, and Carter takes advantage. These guys, they don't have to be calm right now. They are going to be fighting to move on to the A main, especially past this halfway mark. That's going to keep on going back and forth, right up to the checkered flag.
So this is going to be where we're watching. This is where the action is going to come from for sure. As Randall Carter, I believe we've seen him in all of the last chance qualifiers tonight. Did a good job to run his way through, and he currently holds that last transfer position, the 06 machine, trying to get around Blaze Deckert, and this is only giving that 37 of Randall Carter more and more room as they work through 3 and 4. 3 laps to go as they get to the line.
And if you're Carter, you're screaming for joy because this has spread out his gap, growing and growing here in this heat. And it's going to keep on growing if they keep on crossing up each other with slide jobs. That's exactly what's going on. Carter has just all but sealed it here to move on to the A main with the rest, with him catching up, in fact, to the rest of the top 11.
2 laps to go, and even despite the damage on that 37 car, right side looks a little bit more like a modified, considering how much that right front wheel is hanging out, and Perez and Deckert have lost an insurmountable amount of time. I think it's going to have to be an incident coming out in front of them if they have any hope of transferring from this one. Meanwhile, Drew Hirschko, he already has the white and is working down the back straightaway. as Chase Cabra is just behind him. Through 3 and 4 for the final time, and Drew Hirschko, he is going to take victory in your B main. Randall Carter will hold on to that 12th spot for sure. Everyone else going to be cycling through. Garrett DeBruge, Austin Carr, bit tight in the mid-pack, but those guys are pretty much all single file. A little bit of contact after getting the line, but that is all right. But my oh my, an exciting last chance qualifier for these guys, and unfortunately, Perez, Deckert, Dyer, and Wilson will not be carrying on this evening. Their nights are done.
Yeah, their nights are done, but it was definitely some intense racing there. Just the amount of battling going on right on behind just let the 37 really of Randall Carter just pull away from the rest of the battlers right on behind him and seal things up. Sometimes you have to be more lucky than good. That time, he had the luck of 2 drivers battling for 13th spot instead of for 12th.
So, some drivers are out there running laps. I believe we are going to have a short intermission. I will double check that here. Then we'll be getting ready to move our way forward. See, we will have, actually I'm not going to say anything in case I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, we are going to have short intermission here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live and your Accelerated VLR late model series. And well, Justin, it's been fantastic action thus far. Kenny Wallace Dirt Racing Experience, Accelerated, Team Friday, and WRT Speedworks, they're getting their money's worth tonight. That's
for sure. They definitely are getting their money's worth. And it should be even more than money's worth in a little bit here with the 50 laps for the feature. This is going to be an absolute intense race. Should see a lot of intense battling for the rest of the way.
I think that's going to be the big thing for sure, as we are going to actually step aside for RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. We'll be back shortly. We got to hop over to another server. We're going to be getting everything going for you in just a couple of minutes time. Don't go away. It's going to be a fantastic 50-lap feature. Well, it is time for your accelerated VLR late model series. We are in feature server. Drivers currently out there on the racetrack doing a bit of warm-up, bringing that track in, but this is going to be an exciting one. The best drivers from March the 20th in your accelerated VLR late model series, round number 5, brought to you by the Kenny Wallace Dirt Racing Experience, Accelerated, Team Friday, and WRT Speedworks. Well, it's going to be a good one. It's been an amazing race thus far, Justin, and this feature is going to be amazing. 50 laps on the board, and most importantly, caution laps do not count. So it's all got to be clean and all got to be green in this one tonight.
Yeah, it's got to be kept clean and green. That's as you mentioned. So it's going to be interesting to see how drivers handle their challenges, especially since this is a much hotter server / racetrack right now compared to the previous heats and the B main. So this is going to be some more challenges to be faced for this feature race tonight.
So just a few minutes left in this warm-up, and that's going to be interesting to note because of what Justin just said. The fact that the fact that the conditions are hotter. One of the interesting things about the iRacing sim is that the dirt will actually change based on the conditions, based on the ambient conditions. So if things are hotter, the water will essentially evaporate out of it quicker. That means things are going to get dustier and that track will slicken up a little bit more. One of the intricate things about the iRacing service is the beat drops so amazingly well. I need more of this music in my life, is simply put the main situation. For a reference on lap times, practice currently running. Drew Hirschko, who leads the way, only driver in the 18.3 second bracket. He's on a 3.91. Next closest is Jason George with a 4.01. Ian Blancard, he just got down to a 4.10 with Howard Weaver with an 18.430. Justin, this is going to be a fast one.
It's going to be absolutely fast, that's for sure. And if you're seeing in that backdrop, for sure, a lot of drivers are moving their driving lines down compared to the heats and the B main, where it was more closer towards the cushion on the outside. These drivers, they're going almost all the way down to the brim, for example, in 3 and 4, and then sliding their way up the racetrack for the exit. It should be very interesting 50 laps, that's for sure, tonight here in Knoxville.
Other drivers that we've been talking, they've gotten down to the 3s. Hirschko continues to lead the way, though, with a 3.51. Jason George and Heilemann each ran a 3.55 and a 3.96, respectively. We'll be getting you your starting grid when these guys actually take for the grid, as I just have to get out the glow sticks and start waving them, because my oh my, this music is amazing. And now, Justin, fantastic night of racing thus far. We saw the heats. They were phenomenal. Last chance races, but the Seaman and the B main, they were phenomenal. Who do you think your pick is going to be to win round number 5, the accelerated VLR late model series? There's been a lot of quick names up and down the field tonight.
One of the main drivers that have really stood out to me in terms of their speed and performance has been Howard Weaver. Howard Weaver in his races, especially for the heat, he found a way to make that bottom side work along with the slick, along with trying to slide through 1 and 2. I think you see somebody like him being able to adapt very well. Very for sure favor for this. Nuremberg might be also able to do the same thing he has done, be able to drive well, especially in the B main after recovering from a 4th place finish in his heat. He's also trying to make that bottom side work in 3 and 4 as well as 1 and 2. Those are 2 drivers I think you should expect to see to do well in their features tonight. In this feature, I should say, tonight, that may be able to cut their way through the field.
Gotta say it with me, Justin. Bruges. If you keep saying Nürburgring, people will think you'll be talking about war crime trials. But
okay.
Regardless, people are still working their way out on the racetrack. Heilemann has gone quickest in the warm-up with Hirschko in 2nd. People are getting down to the 18.3s. The racetrack comes in and dials in a little bit. If you have a keen eye, you'll see that racetrack has changed a little bit. Heilemann's going to pull it off. But you can already see a little bit of slickness coming in the bottom grooves here, both on 1 and 2 as well as 3 and 4, as I have been happily made aware that is race spot music. I was going to be really sad if that was series music that we couldn't use anywhere else, but it's not. So I'm going to use that at every opportunity that I possibly can when I produce races. So look out for that, Hugo. But just waiting for this last about minute and a half here, Justin, before we can go down give you our starting grid. Your pick with Howard Weaver. I have to say, I don't think he's going to be in a position to win this just based on his starting spot. But that 37 to Randall Carter, he's looked bad fast through the C and B mains from what we saw from him tonight.
Yeah, somebody that has really been at the right place at the right time, as you said, with a decent amount of speed, but also decent amount of talent tonight, because it takes a lot of skill to work your way through the C and the B main like that, and make sure you're in the right spot to advance to that, to be able to hang on to position. I think if he can cut his way through this field and keep up at the front, he might be able to hang on for the checkered flag potentially too. Good thought of bringing up Randall Carter, that's for sure.
So, as these guys continue to run, 40 seconds left on the warm-up. And let's see if anyone is going to go quicker than that 21 car of David Heileman, who's currently quickest with an 18.343. 30 seconds left, about a lap and a half left for these guys to potentially run before we're going to be bringing you 50 laps here in the Accelerated VLR Late Model Series on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. Thank you guys for accepting us as sort of just getting plugged into it for tonight. Apparently a little hiccup with the other broadcaster that was health related, so hopefully they are a-okay in regards to that. But with that, 5 seconds left, and well, we're going to be going down your starting grid here in just a couple of moments. Hugo's going to cue the music, we're going to cue the hype, and I'll bring you the starters for the Accelerated VLR Late Model Series feature event. So, as the field gets set, the number 12 of Alex Bergeron, winner from the last iteration of Friday Dirt Night in the all-new USAC 360 Sprint Cars. Alex, I believe, is the best driver on iRacing Dirt right now. He'll be starting on the pole position in the front row with Jason George in second. John Fiddler and Howard Weaver will roll off on row number 2 with Mike Molnar and Virgil Graham row number 3. Josh Phillips, Brandon Schmidt on row number 4 with Jacob Leverstein and Dave Heileman, your championship points leader on row number 5. Shane James and Drew Hirschko row 6 with Chase Cabre and Garrett Nabruge on row number 7. Austin Carr and Dylan Ducarme row number 8 with Mike Molnar and Jacob Fields row number 9. Dylan Fox and Luke Chowning row 10 with Jordan Wesley and Ian Blancard row 11, and Randall Carter will round out the 23 car field for the feature event tonight. iRacing safety truck getting ready to take this field off onto the racetrack for the first of their 2 pace laps. Justin, fireworks. Does anyone have anything for Alex?
There's a lot of different good drivers here that can compete with a guy like Alex Bergeron, especially with his experience. And of course, as mentioned, I mentioned drivers like Howard Weaver. We've mentioned Chase Cabre a few times. In his good heats, he's going to be somebody I think that, if he can get fast, can keep up at the front. And keep in mind, too, it's going to come down to luck. Bergeron has had a lot of luck in these past few weeks in the races I've called here on RaceSpotTV. It's going to come down to, I think, luck for some of these drivers in the end, potentially. A lot to watch for tonight as we get all set for the start of this one.
Huge shout outs once again to the sponsors: Kenny Wallister Racing Experience, Accelerated, Team Friday, and WRT Speedworks. Thank you for bringing us in for this one. It's been a lot of fun. It's been fantastic action here on RaceSpotTV. Now it's time to bring it to a close. 50 laps on the board. Shout outs as well, of course, to Team VLR, as that iRacing safety truck that, in honor of Cam Walsh, I will say looks an awful lot like a something out there, but we can't say what because there's a reason it's not badged. Pace truck comes to the safety of pit road, and we are green in the Team Accelerated VLR Late Model Series round number 5 at Knoxville. Feature event, 12 car goes to the bottom immediately. Jason George, he runs the middle, everyone 2x2 more or less up and down this 23 car field as we are through the first half of the lap clean. They're 4 wide deep in your field. They get themselves situated back 2x2 though, as lap number 1 will be scored green.
Decent clean start, but trouble on the front stretch. 2 different drivers wedged against the front wall.
So that is going to bring out caution. It's the 56 car, Mike Molnar, someone we've seen a lot of running of tonight, as he pretty much gets flipped upside down, gets shoved into that fence, and I think actually somewhat nicely there, Justin. It wasn't a super hard hit for him. He just sort of got shoved up on the up on the lid and then rolled back onto the wheels, I think that 56 car is still going to have life in it.
Yeah, I think so too. It does still have life a little bit, as you've seen there.
As much life as a car that's been upside down can have.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it there. But it's going to be a little bit damaged, of course, for obvious reasons. But it might still be able to run decently. These cars can take a bit of a beating, that's for sure. It's just going to have not as much speed there. It's just about making sure you keep it clean from here on out, because if you add a bit more damage, I don't think it's going to run as quickly as need be, or even have a motor in the end.
Yeah, that's going to be the main thing. As lights are still on that safety truck, we are still only one lap into this. Like we said, only green flag laps count tonight, so that's going to be the main thing we really have to watch, because it's sort of backwards from what we're used to seeing. In the official sessions, yellow laps do count, and the other interesting thing to talk about is fuel, and this is mostly something that I think affects the open wheel stuff like the sprint cars, but at least in the official sessions, they freeze the fuel when it is being burned under yellow. It isn't exactly the most realistic thing, but because iRacing is a sim, you have a thing like a clutch, and you don't actually have to push start the open wheel cars. And that is mostly a thing to prevent fuel burning, because unfortunately, a lot of weight comes, a little bit of weight goes a long way in those open wheel cars, so they freeze the consumption under yellow. Here's going to be the exact opposite, whereas in the official stuff, you want to run as little as you can. Here, you're going to want to put a bunch of fuel in and hope you don't end up with a bunch of cautions. So lap number 1 scored under green complete. Let's see if we can keep more of this green and get a nice long run as the iRacing safety truck comes down for the second time towards pit road, and Bergeron gets on that go pedal once again. Weaver, not a great start, but it's a G1 for the 9 on the outside, but 2x2 the entire field once again through 1 and 2, working the second lap.
Yeah, nice clean start again up at the front, and everyone just able to get some nice clean runs here, but still in that middle of that hornet's nest, starting to get very cluttered up, especially 11th on back around that point, around the top 10, I should say, as Smith almost had it go 3 wide. Everyone just going right up to that upper high line towards the cushion to get themselves into a rhythm to position themselves up for the best position, but still an absolute chaotic hornet's nest to mess around still for much of the field.
At 4 of 50 currently being scored right now, as Bergeron has himself a nice half-second lead over the rest of the field, but Jason George wants to change that in the number 9 MaxSpeedTV machine. He's going to run through the middle of 3 and 4 as they come to lap number 5. He's going to reel him in, I think, just a little bit. Going to 6.25 for Bergeron and Jason George in the 5.63. So a little bit of pace going the way of that 9 car, but look at the way the 12 car is running here, Justin. It's what we saw in the heats and through some of the main, through his heat anyways. We saw Alex really quick down on the bottom, I think quickest of anybody all night, where everyone else is again running that middle groove of the racetrack. So the 12 car being very patient with the throttle, being able to run here. They're side by side deeper in the field. That's Leverstein and Heilemann wheel to wheel in your mid pack.
Yeah, a lot of good battles across this field, as you're mentioning. And again, getting back to Bergeron up towards that front, just able to pull away. He has the experience, but we got trouble middle of 1 and 2. Bunch of drivers bouncing off the walls after a car gets loose right in the middle of the apex.
That's Garrett DeBruge, number 19 machine. Let's see what happened to this number 19 car. I think it may have just been a little bit of a hiccup in your midfield, and, well, he sort of did it to himself. Looks like he got way too much rotation through the center of the corner, as we're 7 laps scored complete, 43 laps to go, and DeBruge, well, fortunately, it was just basically his own fault that he got sent around. Unfortunately, that number 5 machine of Austin Carr, Drew Hirschkill in the 26, they really had nowhere to go, as they kind of just plowed into him.
Yeah, there's nowhere where you could have really win in that, where I think he might have just turned it a bit too much and then just had nowhere to go in terms of the cars right on behind him, bouncing off into his side. They got minimal damage here, but still a bit of a ways to go. Just 7 laps completed here in this feature race tonight.
So 7 down, 43 to go. As things continue to work their way under caution here, Bergeron goes to the ultra low line, somewhat hilariously, but that is okay. they continue to work themselves through. And my oh my, Justin, I can't believe the talent dispersity that 12 car of Alex Bergeron has. I've seen him run everything. I've seen him build skill in the late models. I saw him go from, in the first season of Dirt Night, I saw him go from being almost a full second off to winning races, and now he leads here. I've seen him wheel the wing sprint cars. He won in the non-wind car last week. Bergeron is easily the best driver on dirt, 100%.
Yeah, it takes a lot of talent to go from car to car and keep that said level of talent. That is where you have a guy like Bergeron, as you said, where he is definitely one of the most talented drivers and definitely has the mentality to keep on improving on top of that to continue to get himself to where he wants to be. And definitely right now having a great run in this one as they get all lined up here into turn number 4.
43 to go, and the 12 machine wastes no time picking up the throttle. We're going to be side by side for the second spot. They're teammates of Jason George and John Fiddler trying to decide that one. You also have Howard Weaver and Virgil Graham behind in 4th and 5th trying to sort themselves out. They get single file. A little bit of contact in mid-pack. That's going to force them 3 wide, nearly 4 wide through 3 and 4. Will they be able to hold on to this? I think they will. That's, a little bit of contact, 20 car. I jinxed it. Brandon Schmidt's around. Austin Carr is around. It's going to, bring us to 42 laps to go.
My goodness, a bunch of drivers went around there. The 20 of Schmidt almost had the clearance,
but 25 car is stanced.
Yeah, a lot of different drivers damaged from that. Like, that all really started with Austin Carr being right on behind. I think Schmidt just had a tiny bit of not enough space for the split second, did not possibly know Carter was there, or Carr I should say. Carr gets turned around sideways, things pile up into the turn 1, minimal damage for most of the cars involved, although, as you said, the 235, or 25 I should say.
And they sort of knocked the rear end out of that.
Yeah, I'm just absolutely bad luck for Tyler Ducharme being the one main casualty from that accident. Just bad luck for Ducharme after all of that, my goodness.
Yep, unfortunately I fat-fingered a couple keys as I was putting it into our chat, but my oh my, that was funny. I always love when things go wonky in the bit of software. It's something that does happen, unfortunately. Living in the virtual world, broadcasting in the virtual world, sometimes the ones and zeros don't line up quite right, and it's always hilarious when it does. That said, 42 laps still to go in this feature event, and well, the lights on that safety truck I believe will be going out right here, right now, as we're 8 laps scored complete in the 50-lap feature. And let's see what's going to happen here. Field forms up. We're going back. No one's had anything for Bergeron. You think that 9-car Jason George is going to be better on the gun?
He has to be here to keep up with Bergeron, because if he doesn't time this out right and we stay green, Bergeron will just sail away. If George can keep it side by side maybe into turn 1, he might make it a bit more difficult for Bergeron and have to stick away from the cushion. So I think if you're George, you got to keep it double file right into turn 1 and try and find a way to get the best run out of turn number 2 to give the Bergeron the best challenge.
Doesn't have the response time though, as Bergeron's going to be well and truly cleared. And in fact, John Fiddler, I think he's going to go into that second spot on his teammate. He's just going to slide out in front to get up to the top, and then we're immediately back to yellow. There's likely a big stack up. Oh my lord, I see Shane James. A huge amount of damage on that car, and well, he didn't even make it to the line. And there's a big accordion effect in the mid-pack. Couple cars didn't go. Some people tried to jump it, and well, the 3 machine of James took a big shot from the 04 Chase Cabre.
Yeah, I think that time you see the jump being attempted. Herchko, I think, also had to do a slight checkup that led to James having a checkup. Then Cabre can, of course, see through cars, so that sends James around for all that damage, which leads, of course, to the quick caution. I still think we still are at lap number 8, correct me if I'm wrong, after that too, and I think that actually helped Ducharme because Tyler Ducharme just came out right after that too.
Just getting confirmation. My sweetheart Blake Derflinger confirms that 42 laps to go still, only 8 laps scored complete. Well, that was a big stack. And that's the big thing, Justin. We occasionally see it from these dirt guys. We've seen the aggressiveness in the sprint cars on RaceSpot and Friday Night Dirt Night in the past, but sometimes guys get a little bit overeager and it causes immediate cautions like what we just saw.
Yeah, that time just, it's a little bit over eagerness with the restart. We see this at all levels, really. Here, you see the ramifications of it. So it's, you got to make sure you're patient with the restarts, but also not too patient to lose positions. That time, I think it was that over eagerness, as we keep mentioning, that led to all of that. So this is going to be now single file restart after that incident.
So they also give Chase Cabre an EOL, and I believe you are right. We're going to have a single file restart on this one. And this is something the administrators will sometimes do if the drivers show that they don't show enough give. There's obviously going to be a lot of take, but in any sort of dirt racing, there has to be some give as well. Otherwise, you just end up getting caution after caution. So we're going to go single file restart here to hopefully somewhat spread this field out, which is all right in my opinion. Lights on the safety truck will be going out right here. We're going to be going back to green flag racing with 42 laps to go. I think some drivers, they might be getting a little bit worried potentially about that fuel count, as there's a lot of yellow laps already being run here. With that said, you should generally, for a race like this, fill up with enough of a surplus that you'll be able to make it without any problems. iRacing safety truck getting ready to head down towards that safety of pit road. And we'll be back going to green flag racing on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live in your accelerated VLR late model series round number 5 from Knoxville. Bergeron back in command of the field. He's going to waste no time once again. It's a better jump now from the new second place runner, John Fiddler, as they run through 1 and 2.
Yeah, everyone immediately working up to that higher line instantly. Few battles, of course. Graham tried to get right by George, but just about single file immediately after the restart. But Graham's still trying to make that bottom side work through the slick. And he's starting to drop back inch by inch with Leverstein right now, ready to make the move on the high side out of 2.
Let's see where that move is going to come. Leverstein has to sort of get out of it. Weaver has to take a weird line because of this. Meanwhile, behind, Heileman's trying to work his way on Drew. No, that's Jacob Fields, excuse me, who he's running with. I thought it was Hertzko, but it is not. That 007 car, and the fight is on for the race lead. The 115 of John Fiddler. He's not had the pace on the restarts, but he has the pace under green. He's reeled in that 12 machine of Alex Bergeron, and they're going to run nose to tail. Can that 115 of Fiddler get a good run off the bottom? No, he won't be side by side yet, but the fight for the top 2 is very close.
Very close, so close that it was right at the edge of the left rear quarter panel there. Fiddler is now pushing as much as he can through the slick, trying to go as low as he can, really, but still can't get the right momentum. Bergeron, I think, is noticing this, is trying to now pull away, trying to dive into turns 1 and 2 with slide jobs to try and get away from Fiddler on the defensive.
So Alex goes back down to the bottom, though, and let's see what kind of run can Fiddler get as they work themselves towards 1 and 2. They have a nice little margin over third on back of Jason George, Leverstein, Virgil Graham. They're almost 4 wide, fanning out through 1 and 2. And, well, things are getting very, very dicey. I think Bergeron and Fiddler are going to be very happy to see that. 115 runs the high side, is going to get a big run of momentum. I think has a potential opportunity to make something happen, but he goes back up to the top, to the cushion, as Bergeron runs himself through the slick. And can Fiddler get a run up top? No, Bergeron shuts that door.
Yeah, I think Bergeron noticed that moving through the slick was losing him time. That's why he moved up towards the cushion again. So now Fiddler, he's going to have to be patient. You can see he's trying to go as low as he can there, but that battle for third just heated up big time, almost 3 wide out of 1 and 2.
So 34 laps to go as they work themselves through 3 and 4. Fight for third is really getting on. We're going to take a look at that as Jason George coming under attack from Leverstein in the 777. 777 to the bottom. Going to try to slide on up in front of the 9. George trying to back down to the bottom, though. Shows good speed, good momentum, and good traction. The 07 Howard Weaver, he is in this. Virgil Graham is in this. Who else? Josh Phillips, as well as Jacob Fields. So a number of drivers dicing it out, and Leverstein takes that third spot away.
Yeah, but he has to make sure it sticks, but they're still side by side behind him. And now George tried to still run through the slide through the slick. just couldn't make it work. Now he's going to have to fight for his life to keep the top 5, as Graham has been trying to make that work all race long. This has made all the top 2 just absolutely pull away from the rest of the pack.
The Leverstein goes down this back straight in towards 3 and 4, and you see people starting to move up to the top of the racetrack. That bottom groove is getting slicker and slicker. Big moves happening behind. Who was that in that red and black car? I think Lucas Chowning just threw a move on Ian Blancard. Indeed he did. Picked up that 13th spot. The 2 machine is going to go right back down to the bottom. Blancard wants that spot back. Looking out in front, that 12 car has been able to stretch it out. And we're 20 laps into this thing, 30 to go.
Yep, 30 to go, and everyone is just starting to settle into the rhythms. But everyone probably going to get a little antsy here, wanting to move up. Everyone at that middle portion of the race, you can see everyone moving up towards a same line. No one taking any risk quite yet, but they are just outside the top 10 right now. As you see those battles starting to form up, a lot of drivers trying to make the slides through the slick work.
David Heilman is currently working the bottom. Everyone else has moved up top as caution's going to fly. And who was this? This was Shane James again, the 3.
Yeah, this was the battle I was kind of trying to refer to a little bit, as we'll take a look at this, I believe, on the RaceSpotTV replay. Just everyone got bottled up, and in the end, it just sends James again for a tumble around the front stretch. Just the wrong space at the wrong time, as that was becoming a 5-car battle just about through 3 and 4.
Yep, bit aggressive there from Shane. He couldn't really slow himself down though at the same time, so I think Shane really didn't have much choice but try to thread the needle there, and unfortunately for him, it didn't pan out. And he, I think, will likely, well, he might be getting an EOL here, but if not, that was big damage to that 3 car until the end of the night. Now the interesting thing is are we going to go back to a double file restart?
I think it's up to everyone's decisions here, because it was very clean racing. Might go back to the single file, but still, I honestly think the single file really helped Fiddler much more than the double file restart, for sure, to be able to keep up with Bergeron, because Bergeron on the bottom side got a nice jump and was already about 2.5 car lengths ahead by the time they reached the start and finish line. So we'll see what they decide to do here, and if they can keep it clean with how they decide to do this here.
So I'm just waiting for some confirmation myself, as I believe it's going to be single file. Indeed it is. Lights are out, so they're going to remain single, as we're going to have 28 laps left in this. So 22 laps scored complete, 28 to go. So pretty much halfway in your feature event for the 5th round of the Accelerated VLR Late Model Series. iRacing safety truck gets ready to duck down to the safety of pit road. And we will be back to green flag racing here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. Truck down to the safety of pit road, and Bergeron gets onto it, and he's got a big gap over John Fiddler. Nice jump from him. And Jacob Leverstein, he's going to be under attack from the 07 of Howard Weaver.
Yeah, and right now it is absolutely double file. Weaver had a great exit out of 2, kept most of the momentum together. He's going to slide through the slick, almost touching towards the brim. He has to go and deal with 3 wide, as Jason George still rides up on the momentum side on the high line near the cushion, as they continue to duke it out as Fiddler starting to drop back after that start. Bergeron having a much better restart compared to the last one.
That he is. He stretched out an over a half-second advantage, and well, I think actually John may have just brought that back in. Indeed he did, by a few hundredths, but not by very much. But you're starting to see people here, Justin, get to the top side of the racetrack, running that cushion. And actually, I think the 12 of Bergeron may have realized a little bit too late, because John Fiddler has reeled in a lot of time, and Bergeron does not look comfortable up there. He has lost a lot of ground and not a lot of time, as they work themselves, everyone to the top side, trying to work the cushion. And Fiddler, he seems to like riding the top. Bergeron doesn't look as comfortable yet.
Yeah, looking at the lines, you see Bergeron going much higher up on the cushion, and this has opened the door for Fiddler, having to back off to make sure he didn't hit the left rear quarter panel, as they are going to start wall riding it here to go for that fast line. Fiddler, he's going to go side by side for the lead.
The new update, the cushion, some people are good on it, other people are not. Bergeron is struggling, and the 115 really loose through the slick. That's going to open up the 12 to try to drive back down to the bottom, wheel to wheel, and that's going to be Fiddler leading that lap by just barely, but Bergeron, he's going to slide back into the race lead. He tries to cut off the bottom, but Fiddler muscle his way down to the bottom through the 3 and 4.
Absolute close call on the crossover. Another crossover now for 3 and 4. Fiddler this time, he makes it work to go stay on the cushion, and he's going to take the lead here. The first real lead change of this event tonight as Fiddler starts to pull away on that cushion. They're still double file with George and Leverstein as Leverstein takes it too high.
Couple little bits of contact there. The 115 is starting to stretch the margin in towards 1 and 2. Bergeron goes back down to the bottom. No one else is down there, but I think Alex's car is set up to run there, and I think he looks better on that end of the racetrack. Through 3 and 4, you see the 115 really lurch over the cushion on entry. The Bergeron, he drives it over the berm on the bottom on the entry in towards 3 and 4, but he gives up so much time off the corner. I don't know if Bergeron is going to be able to reel in the 115. They're just swapping times back and forth.
It's going to be an absolute challenge here, but he does have the advantage of being on the cushion. But look at Bergeron, just absolutely almost straight cut it right up to him. He's starting to shave off that time bit by bit. He's not taking this patiently. He's going for the lead right then and right now, and he's right up to him. Couldn't make this work through 3 and 4 if he does it again.
Bergeron down to the bottom, bit of contact. He gets into the 115. That's going to set him halfway around. 9 car of Jason George. He's going to get bumper hooked. Absolutely nothing he could do. We're likely going to be going yellow, and indeed we do. But oh my, oh my. That all-star 37 to Randall Carter. He gets into a big secondary incident as well. But man, oh man, I don't see any other way to say it other than Bergeron got a little bit too aggressive there, Justin. Tried to throw a big move on the 115 when that was nowhere near going to be clear enough. And because of that, Fiddler's going to be the big loser. The question is going to be, does Bergeron get an EOL?
Yeah, I think that's going to be an absolute big question and up to the discretion of race control. But looking at this, yeah, he tried to carry the momentum, but a bit more defensive line, I think, was being taken by Fiddler there. Just took too much speed, slid through the slick, through the bump. And then George, of course, having nowhere to go on the exit as Fiddler just picked up speed. George having, of course, being sent around. Bad luck for George with 18 laps to go. Just, man, oh man, this changes everything, that's for sure.
Does he get it? We have no decision coming from race control just yet. There's been other drivers who, due to some of the cautions, have gotten end-of-line penalties as well. Mike Molnar was one. Chase Cabre was another. And there's been no decision just yet. And the longer it takes, the more I have to believe that Bergeron is going to be getting away with that one. And well, I think that 115 machine of Fiddler is not going to be particularly excited about that one. I really do think that was caused by Alex. They worked their way through, and I think that's going to be it. I think that 12 car just got away with it there, Justin.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. Yes, he probably did for sure. But let me say this. Now that you basically have the hand you're dealt with here, if you're Fiddler, you got to take a deep breath and recoil yourself. You're in 4th spot, yes, but you're still in a decent spot to be able to get back up to Bergeron. It's going to take a lot of patience, and if you're riled up, you're not going to catch him. You're going to lose time and potentially fall at the top 5. So got to make sure you get yourself deep breaths. And right now, play with the hand you're dealt with, because Bergeron's still going to be the control car for this restart with Howard Weaver right behind him.
18 laps to go in the feature. Let's see what can happen. Weaver has found himself right up tucked against the back of Bergeron on this restart. Green flag's gonna fly. And can Howard hook the top? Alex, we know, doesn't like it. He's found speed down on the bottom, and here comes Howard. He works the cushion. Look for him to get a big run in towards 3 and 4.
Yeah, riding right on that cushion, having the front tires towards that slick, but Bergeron, he's still trying to make the slide jobs work to move up from the bottom through the slick up to the cushion. He's not making it work, though. He's losing a lot of time. This will open up the door for Howard here for turn 3 and 4.
Howard goes down to the bottom. Bergeron, I don't think, really knows what to do, because I think he's expecting Howard to assault up top. Coming off the corner now towards the front straightaway. And while the 12 car, he holds on to it, Howard Weaver is going to have to sort of recollect himself, because he lost a lot of time on the bottom.
Yeah, he definitely did. It is very tough to ride through that slick. That's why he's got to recoil himself up right along that cushion. He got a decent run out of turn number 4, but Bergeron, now in clean space, is starting to actually make it work a little bit and even out the time balance here, especially in 1 and 2 as he drives right through that slick once again back up to the cushion.
Bergeron did a very good job right there as we're approaching 10 laps remaining in your feature event. The thing is, though, every single lap we go, I think the better and better that top side is going to be as that cushion starts to build up. Weaver, though, gets into the wall coming off corner number 2, and he's going to have to slide through the slick stuff up there. I think that's not quite where he's going to be finding the pace. Lap times, keeping an eye on them. They were basically even last time through, 300ths in favor of Bergeron. This time, it's an 8.12 for Alex versus a 7.79 for Weaver, so they're tossing half-tenths back and forth to one another. Howard still runs the top, and Bergeron still finding the pace on the bottom.
Yeah, coming towards the 12 to go mark according to race control. So Weaver has to find any way he can to start shaping that time right here and right now. The cushion's working, but we got trouble in turn 1.
The trouble in turn 1, that's going to bring out the yellow. This is Jason George up on his roof on the entry into that corner. And how did this start? It started, I think, with a 26 machine of Drew Hirschko. Actually, it started even behind that. The 21 machine of David Heilman. He threw a big move to make it 3 wide. And I think this is what caused it. Yeah, the 26 machine, actually, he just got a little bit loose, caught into Jason, bounced off David Heilman on the bottom, and that threw that 26 car up into the wall. Big incident. Bring out a yellow with about 10 to go.
Yeah, absolutely huge caution there that really of course, the caution laps don't count, so this really recoils things up. That's for sure, and gives people some chances there. I will say I think this is the perfect opportunity for Howard really to regroup and potentially actually complete a pass on Bergeron now with this restart chance. This is, I think, the luck that Howard was waiting for potentially here for the end of this feature.
That's going to be the big question here. 12 laps to go. Who's going to be able to hold on to it? Will the number 12 come in favor of the 12 car? Will the 07 have to be the one who gets it? You still have other people to keep in mind, though, Justin. You have Leverstein, Fiddler, Graham. Those 3 drivers who are also in the top 5, they have been amazingly quick.
Yeah, they definitely have been amazingly quick if you look at how they've been running. A lot of the focusing has been basically on Bergeron and Weaver. You're essentially after that last green flag run, but as you mentioned, Leverstein, Fiddler, and Graham, all of them have been deking out to keep themselves in the top 5 and to try and get as high up as they can, which has really set up the big time advantage for Bergeron and Weaver. So if they can get themselves sorted out and someone can break away from all of that battling, this could become a 3, 4, 5 car battle for the finish.
12 laps to go as the iRacing safety truck hits pit road, and we are back to green flag racing. And what a jump it is for Bergeron. Weaver caught sleeping, and Alex has 7 car lengths in towards 1 and 2. But what does the speed look like up along the top? I think it's going to be Howard getting a big run. And look at that, he reeled him in by a couple car lengths. He might have the time of their contact behind. He'll be nearly 3 wide. Leverstein gets shoved out from John Fiddler in the 115.
Yeah, taking advantage of that is Fiddler as he moves himself up to Thorpe, still in the cushion.
We got a car around. Virgil Graham in the 42 gets sent around. And I think this started in the same point on the racetrack. I think there's a bit of an accordion effect. They were actually 4 wide coming off that 4th corner, and unfortunately Virgil is going to be the big loser, as it's not going to be a big contact, but he ends up facing the wrong way, and that's going to send him way down the field.
Yeah, that time going up too high. Tried to diamond it a little bit on his slide for turn number 4. Gets caught up a little bit. I believe that is grounding. He got tied up with a bit and just gets spun around, bouncing off that outside wall. Again, though, Howard Weaver and the rest of the field, especially Fiddler, get themselves an air crack at battling against Bergeron for this up at the front with 11 to go.
11 laps left. That lap did indeed count. Just wanted confirmation, and you're absolutely right. Another opportunity, and Howard's going to need it because he got an absolutely terrible restart right there on that 12 car, and he's, I think, very lucky the fact that we got such a quick caution to reset this field again.
Yeah, I think so too, because if it stayed green, he probably would have got swallowed up potentially for the second spot by Fiddler, and Bergeron would have ran away with it. So this will give him a chance to regroup, get a better restart here when they get back going here as we're coming towards the 1 to go signal, and make sure he can keep up, because last time he just fell back down that back stretch and it caused the contact a little bit behind Leverstein trying to keep his momentum up. That opened the door for Fiddler to get back to the 3rd spot. So this is going to be an absolutely wild finish to this one if we stay green here for the Accelerated VLR late model series here at Knoxville, that's for sure.
Pace Truck leads the field down the back straightaway with 11 laps remaining in this feature event. It's been caution filled. Will we continue that, or will it be green to the finish? Alex Bergeron about to be in command and in charge of this field, and look at how much space he leaves between himself and that safety truck. Green flag flies, and it's much better jump this time for the 07 of Howard Weaver, who is right up against that rear tailgate of Alex Bergeron. A little bit of contact with the wall for the 12 as Weaver's going to try to drive it down to the bottom. He's going to come nearly alongside with Alex. Can he throw the slider to get it clear? He gets the race lead, but he gets set up into the wall as well. 10 laps to go as Bergeron gets turned.
Fiddler getting into the back of him there after that. Just an absolutely crazy run there for the battle, and man, oh man. Again,
and Alex called it quits. Alex left the server.
I can't believe that at all. I can't believe he called it quits immediately on that. Gonna have to definitely see the replay with what is going on after that one. I think it was just Weaver having a very strong run, Bergeron getting held up, and then Fiddler having nowhere to go as Bergeron tried to get back going. In the end, this changes everything and then some.
Well, that number 115 car definitely just made some fans. Well, and he got a little bit of karma back to the, and gave some repayment there to the 12 machine. So big issues there as Bergeron calls it a night after dominating this one. And now, Justin, now who's going to win this thing? Because the person who's dominated the entire evening is out.
Well, one of my favorites I said early on was Howard Weaver, because he is one of the all-time, in fact, the all-time winner right now for VLR for this. So he's got a strong shot, but Fiddler's also had a very strong late model car tonight as well. So he is somebody that can really make a challenge, that's for sure, especially if he has the great restart. Leverstein has had some decent runs right on Weaver and Fiddler for sure. Jacob Fields, he's in the 3rd spot. He's somebody we barely even talked about tonight because he started all the way at the back of this one. So he might be able to have a decent run in this one because he had some decent practice times in 18.495 before everything got all slickened up.
18th up to 3rd for that 007 car as Weaver is in command of the field. Safety truck to pit road. Will we see another alt F4? The 777 tries to jump in, and David Heileman follows suit. That's going to cause a huge stack up, 100%, and they're nearly 3 wide through 1 and 2 for the first time. But Weaver is clean for the moment as Fiddler is going to try to fight back as we're coming to 10 to go.
Yeah, great start on the cushion and a little too high on the cushion for Weaver. This is going to be side by side in turn 1. Fiddler going to have to go for the cross up with the slide job. Can he make it work? No, he cannot, as Weaver completes the crossover to get the position on back.
10 laps remaining, and the fight is on for the race lead, and the crossover war begins. Can Weaver hold on to the top? I think he can. He did a good job pitching that 115 to John Fiddler, but he wasn't quite clear. Fiddler's going to slide back in front through 1 and 2. Back down to the bottom goes Weaver.
Yeah, another nice crossover. It's going to be back and forth, really, as Fiddler, he has Weaver touched towards the wall right in the middle of 3 and 4. This is what Fiddler needed as he moves up to the bottom. They almost get hooked together, my goodness. And now Fiddler, he's got a tiny bit of breathing room, but still not a lot of it, as it's going to be Weaver coiling up for the cross.
Here comes the 07 car. That 007 machine is there lurking, not quite able to get the job done. That might bring Jacob Fields into the mix. No, Weaver's got enough space, and they're still fighting it out here on the top side of 1 and 2. Can Weaver reel back in that 115 machine of Fiddler, or will Fiddler go from about 4th or 5th after the incident with Bergeron and hold on to these last handful of laps for the win?
Going to be an absolute challenge for Weaver for sure. He's definitely struggling through 3 and 4, way more up the track along the cushion, and that's holding him up a bit for time. So he's got to find a way to lower this on down to get back to the back door, but it's going to be a very difficult here, especially with Fields starting to chomp out the bit with 4 laps to go.
4 laps remaining in this feature, and Fiddler is just out in front of the 07 of Howard Weaver as they head down the back straightaway, coming to 3 laps to go.
This is going to be absolutely close here, really. Weaver's getting him right where he wants to be. He's going to go for the slide chop right now. Can't make it stick with it being very slick, of course, on that bottom side. He's going to have to do it once again. It's going to be coming down to the white flag, really, for this battle, I should say, coming towards 2 to go.
2 laps remaining. John Fiddler got a bit of payback on Bergeron, and now he leads this race. Weaver, though, is not going to give it up. Lap and a half remaining for the Accelerated VLR Late Model Series at Knoxville, round number 5. White flag waving at the starter stand, and who is it going to be? Couldn't be much closer. The 07 is tucked right underneath the back of the 115 of John Fiddler. Down the back straightaway for the final time, and Weaver had a little bit of a run, but he had to get out of it. The 115 defends down on the bottom as they get ready to come off the corner. My voice is gone, and it's going to be John Fiddler who wins at Knoxville.
What a wild finish for sure. Just about side by side for that one. Absolutely great run, that's for sure, for Fiddler tonight. Able to take himself up to the front for the finish, that is for sure. Congratulations for him, and what was a very intense finish with him and Weaver.
Man, oh man, that was the first time I have lost my voice in the middle of a broadcast. It's going to be a fun weekend. But that 115 of John Fiddler, he begins burning them down on start finish. Man, well, not on start finish, in 3 and 4, but what a run for that 115 car. I think he likely thought he was out of it at one point, Justin, and after that, he is going to be a happy camper. But with that, let's go down your post-race results here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. John Fiddler takes the big win with Howard Weaver in 2nd. Dick Fields in 3rd with Jacob Leverstein 4th. And Austin Carr rounding out your top 5. Luke Chowning in 6th. Chase Cabre 7th. Dylan Fox 8th. Ian Blanchard in 9th. And Virgil Graham rounding out the top 10. Josh Phillips in 11th. Mike Molnar in 12th. David Heileman in 13th. And now we get to the drivers finish laps down. Brandon Schmidt in 14th. Jordan Wesley in 15th. Garrett Nabruge in 16th. Mike Molnar in 17th. And I know that a lot of happy people to see this. 13 laps down. Alex Bergeron in 18th. Drew Hirschko in 19th. Jason George rounding out the top 20 with Randall Carter, Tyler DuCarme, and Sean James rounding out the 23 car feature event field tonight. We'll be back in just a couple of moments on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. Catch our breath. I need to hydrate my vocal cords, and post-race coverage coming at you in just a moment. Don't. Welcome back to RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live as post-race coverage coming at you from the Accelerated VLR Late Model Series. Well, we just have to kick it off with the big winner this evening, the 115 of John Fiedler. Well, John, it was an exciting race for you. You were having an interesting battle with Alex Bergeron for a while. Alex kind of turned you around, but you got the opportunity to dish out some payback, and you come away with the big win tonight. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel good. It wasn't exactly like that for payback or anything. Yeah, I didn't like how Alex, he did me there. He doored me pretty good and knocked me out and got me back to like 5th, I think. But it wasn't intentional to spin Alex at all. I don't like to race that way at all, even though I didn't like the way he raced me. But him and Howard got into it, and I just came in quick, and I thought he got it straightened back around, and then he got sideways again and just got into him. So it was definitely a fun race.
He came into this 4th place in the points behind Heilemann, Leverstein, and Dylan Wilson, and really the only one that finished anywhere near you was that 777 machine of Jacob Leverstein. So I believe you'll be catapulting yourself into the points lead as we get ready to head in towards the 6th race at Volusia. You feeling confident there in Florida?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. Elite 7's got this thing moving. I mean, all these updates and everything, and just working on setups and trying to get the car to go as fast as we possibly can. We're feeling pretty good right now.
Well, John, congratulations on the big win here in the Accelerated VLR Late Model Series. Before we let you go, any shout-outs or who would you like to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank my teammates again, Elite 7 Racing. They did great. I think we had 3 in the top 10. I know Fields was right behind me in 3rd. You guys are getting ready to talk to him. My sponsors, X.CELERATED, Water Truck Productions, Drew Hirschko. Check them out on Facebook and twitch.tv/Fank.
That is your big winner, the number 115 of John Fiedler. And what we're going to have to move on down the order. We have now stood by with Justin Print, your 2nd place finisher, Austin Semmelman.
Yes, Austin joins us right now. Isn't that right, Austin? Coming away with a 2nd place finish in a very close battle. How are you feeling, sir?
Well, Austin actually let me drive my own car tonight, so it actually is the real Howard Weaver for once. So,
whatever, Austin.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good. This is literally the first of the 5 weeks in this series that in the late models that I haven't wrecked. So, normally I would be running that close to the front anyway, I think, and so this time I actually finished the race. So, I'm just happy about that. Wish I could have won, though.
Talk us through those final stages of the race, trying to set yourself up for the victory, because it was a lot of crossover moves with Fiedler to battle for that victory. Talk us through what was going on through your head and what you were hoping to do, what you needed to do to seal it off. Of course, with you ending up finishing 2nd near side by side.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Fiedler was able to get past me there. I didn't really, he was kind of all of a sudden in front of me, but I still thought I was faster than him. There was a big bump going into turn 1, and I kept hitting it wrong, and the car would just want to push straight into the wall. So it was kind of a guessing game if I got it right or not on whether I would hit that bump or not. If I didn't hit it, I got a much better entry than Fiedler into the turn, but it was a tough race, and we battled to the end. Probably could have given him a little bump and run at the end, but I already felt bad because I got into Alex there, and so I didn't want to put more bad karma, I guess. And John's always raced me clean too, so.
Okay, so let me ask you 2 final questions, of course. With Volusia coming up, what will be your strategy there, and how comfortable do you feel about the track?
I really like Volusia. I don't really like anything really about this update. So, but in the past, I've always liked Volusia. It's going to be a tough track to pass. It's a lot slower than Knoxville. So, you got to be off the gas more, I guess, and so it's going to be a little bit tougher to pass. But if there's 2 grooves of a race, then it should be a good race. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I can go 2 weeks in a row without getting wrecked here and make a run for it. But yeah, good race with John, and I actually came off turn 4 more even with him than I thought. I think he was kind of burning up the tires trying to beat me to the line, and that was actually slowing him down. And then I got happy too, and I did the same thing. So we kind of both stayed the same all the way to the finish.
Do you have any quick thanks you want to give before we let you go, Austin?
Yeah, first I want to thank Howard Weaver for the setup, and he's a great driver. But I'm glad he let me fill in for him tonight, and he would have finished 1 spot higher, I guess. But anyway, I'd like to thank RaceSpot for coming tonight and doing this on short notice, and VLR, Team Friday, Tennessee Punch, Farmer City Raceway, and yeah, John and everybody that ran me clean tonight, and good race.
Thank you very much for the time.
Yep, thank you guys.
And that was Austin Suttleman, along with Howard Weaver's PR manager or some sorts, with the 2nd place finish. Randy?
I'm stood by with your 3rd place runner, that 007 machine of Jacob Fields. And Jacob, you were really the big mover tonight. 18th up to 3rd. How in the world did you manage that?
Man, just trying to avoid those wrecks and just stay clean. It was hard, that's for sure.
Now, we saw there was it was like a switch got flipped over the course of this race. There's the new cushion update that just came out on iRacing that's caused some controversy. Some people love it, some people hate it, but regardless, seems like when it comes in, generally the quick way around this place is up against the top. Exactly how tricky is it now running the top versus the way it used to be? We know it's quicker, but how do you have to approach running the top differently than the way you used to?
It's definitely tricky. I mean, you definitely got to pay attention to your gear. I mean, you can make it or break it with that, and just trying to have a setup that's good enough to run the bottom and then move up top whenever it does move up there. It's definitely a lot more difficult than it was.
Now, of course, the other thing that's been big on iRacing, of course, beyond Dirt Night, we have recently just started the World of Outlaw Pro qualifiers. They just got started last night. I think you did some running. How did your run go in that, Jacob?
I got a 3rd in my split, which, I mean, I'll take it. That puts me in top 30 for points. I mean, I don't plan on winning it, but I'd definitely like to make a shot for the Pro Series.
Well, good luck to you in that, and hope to see you on RaceSpotTV in the future in that World Championship, being brought to you by myself and Cam Walsh when that eventually happens, both in the late models and in the sprint cars. But till then, Jacob, well done tonight. Before we let you go, any shout-outs, who would you like to thank?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank all the guys at E7, Water Truck Production, thank you guys for hosting this. It's always awesome to go back and watch. You guys put on a great show. Thanks everybody for VLR for putting it on as well.
Jacob Fields, everybody, the man who ran his way through the field tonight, 18th up to 3rd. He looks to have a good run out at Volusia as well. Thanks again, Jacob.
Thanks, guys.
Well, Justin, it was an exciting race here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. Well, your pick with Howard Weaver, but he was just a little bit short. How disappointed are you there in Austin?
Tiny bit disappointed, I guess, but he still had a strong run and was battling for the finish up for that, so very close finish for him and a good run, I should say, the very least, to move him to get the 2nd spot today. I will say with Fields, it was an absolute definite good run for him to move all the way from 18th up to that top 3 spot. So a lot of strong runs we've seen tonight, and it should be interesting for Volusia, that's for sure.
Volusia coming at you in about 1 week's time. I do not believe it will be us at RaceSpotTV bringing it to you. It'll be the traditional broadcast here of OSRN. Like we said, a little bit of health concerns, I think, on their end, and because of that, we end up taking care of the coverage this evening. They should be back to you in 7 days' time. Hopefully all is well with them. Hope they put on some good coverage for that. But from everyone else here on RaceSpotTV, from myself, Randy Cheneth, Justin Prince, and Hugo Louis, thank you for tuning in. If you are not done watching iRacing content just yet, it is a busy, busy week for RaceSpotTV. We have the eSpeed Contender Series coming at you tomorrow night. And then on Thursday, the American Dirt Series Super Late Models, they're going to be hitting the track with the sprint cars on Friday night. And then the weekend, well, it's absolutely crazy. The finale of the Neo Endurance Series, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, will be coming at you on Saturday with the Virtual Racing School iRacing GT World Championship. They're going to be hitting the track at Sebring as well. And of course, Saturday night, dirt night with the midgets, rallycross, and the USAC non-winged 360 sprint cars, as well as other action that carries over into Sunday as well. A jam-packed weekend, probably close to 30 hours of production work, maybe 40 that we have in about a 24-hour period. Not sure how we're going to have to figure that one out, but we're going to make it happen. Until then, see you for all of those, and we hope to see you next time. Stay safe.